Hello, I'm Councilmember Kevin Hartke, and this is Chandler in Focus. And today I have the privilege of interviewing Nathan Boyer, one of our local Chandler heroes who saved the life of his coach by performing CPR, and Gale, our battalion chief, with our fire, health, and medical team. I want to welcome you here to Chandler in Focus. And Nathan, you've become quite a local celebrity in Chandler and beyond for saving the life of your coach a little bit earlier. So we want to hear in a little bit your story of that day, as well as what would you say about learning CPR. And we're hoping that perhaps others will be inspired to also pursue this, because who knows what's going to go on in their lives, right? So first of all, thank you again. And I've had the chance to see you twice now on a radio show, as well as when you came to City Council. You're a cool guy.
Thank you.
And I really liked the interaction with you and your coach. You guys have a great chemistry, and I think that will probably continue. So let's talk about your story. How old are you?
I'm 13 years old.
And what school do you go to?
I go to Prende Middle School.
And tell us, how did you learn CPR?
Well, we brushed up on it on Boy Scouts back in Wisconsin, and that's really it.
So how long are you still in Boy Scouts here, or how long have you been in Boy Scouts?
I'm no longer in Boy Scouts here, but I was in Boy Scouts for 3 years.
Okay. Now, was that part of a merit badge, or was it just something that your troop did to reinforce with everybody?
Yeah, troop did to reinforce.
Okay.
That.
Well, that is fantastic. And so tell me about your baseball coach.
I think he's awesome. He's a great role model, and he's one of my role models, I would say.
Well, tell us his name, and how old is he?
His name is Isaac, and he is 26 years old.
And he has some aspirations too, doesn't he? What would he like to do? This maybe was a little bit of an interruption, but he's got some goals and plans too, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. He wants to be an MLB baseball player just like I do.
Very good. So you guys can maybe, there's enough of an age gap, maybe you guys can even be on the same team, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That would be pretty awesome. So you described him as a coach, as an awesome kind of guy. Why would you say that? Why is he a role model?
Because he's funny, and then he works hard.
Yeah.
And he sort of inspires me to work hard and play baseball and just do the thing I love.
Excellent. Well, tell us about that day.
Well, first of all, I was coming back from we were doing a private lesson. He was a bit late because he said his heart hurt because he thought he slammed a lot of food, and I was coming back from stretching, and then I'm like, let's get started. Then he fell off the bucket face first. At first, I thought I was joking because that's his personality. And after 30 seconds or so, I kept saying, do you want me to call 911? He wasn't responding. He was just breathing really heavy out of his nose. And then I decided to pick up his phone and call 911. And they told me I had to flip him over and perform compressions. And the operator worked it through with me.
Was it difficult working with a 911 operator on the phone? Did they lead you? Did you feel uncomfortable with any of the things?
I wasn't really thinking about it.
Sure.
I was just listening to what she had to say.
That's incredible. So Val.
Yes.
Expand on what happened that day from your point of view.
So it looks like Isaac, when obviously was having some heart issues that was causing the pains and the discomforts that he was having that caused him to be late to class, and then went into some type of sudden cardiac arrest when he was sitting there on the bucket. Passed out, went to the ground. Luckily, Nathan recognized that. Hey, something immediately is going on. Is he joking? Is he not joking? Which is exactly what we teach. Kind of shake and shout. Are you unconscious? What's going on? And once you recognize that, hey, this isn't a joke. This isn't a person that's asleep. This is something serious. Then you make that 911 call. And I had the opportunity to listen to the 911 audio tape from Nathan's call. And he's underplaying his role just a little bit, I think, which is okay. But he talked about, they're in a big park, and they had to find out exactly where in the park this actually took place. And he was able to, I even heard his footsteps run, see exactly where he was, come back, give some directions as to where they were. He recognized a change in the coach while he was on the phone call with the 911 call taker, and said, okay, you said he was breathing kind of deep, kind of big breaths, and then he stopped breathing. So Nathan recognized that change, reported that change to the dispatcher, and the dispatcher was phenomenal. Immediately said, Okay, I'm going to have you start doing CPR. Do you know how to do it? Yeah, I think I do. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and talk you through it. Is he on his back? No, he's not on his back. He's on his face. And she says, okay, Nathan, I want you to roll him over. I don't know if you remember saying this, but you said, okay, I have to put the phone down. So he puts the phone down, and you can hear him kind of, rolling him over, rolls him over, gets the phone back up and says, okay, I want you to start doing chest compressions. And she counts him out for him, and he immediately starts doing the chest compressions. So for anybody to remain as calm as he did on the phone and be able to converse, give instructions, give directions, listen to directions, and then carry out the instructions that he was receiving, I thought was very, very impressive, and in this case had a substantial impact on the outcome.
That's phenomenal. Well, let's listen to that call right now that you've just described.
Fire department, what is your address?
We're at Desert Breeze Park, right by the baseball fields. I don't really know the address, but we have a man that's fainted.
Okay.
He's just breathing really hard, and he's just like on the ground.
Is he on his back or side, or how is he laying?
He's on his face.
Can you roll him over to his back?
I'll try.
Okay, we need to get him on his back. Can you do that?
We need you to get on your back. Come on, hold on, I'm just gonna put the phone down right now. Oh shit. I think he's not. I don't think he's breathing anymore.
Okay, listen. I'm gonna need you to do CPR. I'm gonna walk you through it. Okay. What I want you to do is I want you to kneel down next to his chest. Okay, and I want you to put your hands in the middle of his chest, and I want you to put one hand on top of the other.
Okay.
Okay, I want you to lock your fingers closed, and I want you to push your elbows straight out. Okay? And we're going to push down with all of your weight down onto his chest, and we're only going to give him compressions. Can you do that?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to push your elbows straight, and you're going to push down with all your weight down on his chest hard and fast. So it's going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay?
Here we go.
Is somebody doing that?
I'm doing it right now.
Okay, good. We're going to need to do that so we can get his heart pumping, so we can get his oxygen going, okay? Can you put the phone on speaker?
Yes.
Okay. And I need you to count out loud for me so I know that you're doing it correctly.
It's okay.
Hello?
He's all right. Hello?
Hi, this is the fire department.
Yes, the fire guys just showed up.
They're just there? Okay. All right. I'll let you talk to them then.
Wow. That is pretty amazing. So when the dispatcher talked to you about doing CPR, what was going through your mind?
I was just really nervous, and I was just not really thinking about it that much, because if I thought about it, I'd probably panic. And
I've heard you describe yourself as nervous, but you came across as a pretty cool, calm guy that was able to be up to this task. That's incredible. So when the rescue crew then came and arrived, you were doing compressions, right? How did you feel when you saw the firefighter team?
Well, I was relieved, because the longer it took, the less of a chance he had. And yeah.
Did it seem like a long time, or did it seem like a short time, or did you just kind of stick to it and you were unaware of time when that happened?
I stuck to it, and it felt a little bit longer, because,
You're just kind of caught in the middle of this thing, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. So Val, we listened to the call. Nathan is doing these compressions. He sees you guys coming. Obviously, he's relieved at that point. Tell us what happened when the firefighters arrived on the scene.
Sure. So that was the crew of Ladder 289 who came on scene, and the engineer is the driver of the ladder, parked and could see the chest compressions. And so that's a visual sign, right? Sometimes you get information at different points in the call. And so, some of the crew went back and got the equipment and began carrying it over, and then Jake Brogdon, the engineer, got out of the truck and actually ran over to go ahead and take over chest compressions. And one of the things that the captain, Ralph Barr, and that crew talked to me about was not only what a great job Nathan did with the, recognizing this need, administering these chest compressions, but then once the fire crew took over the chest compressions and all the things that are associated with that, then Nathan was able to relay the story to them in a very clear manner. Sometimes people are really flustered. It's hard to get information exactly what happened. Was he hit by something? Did he pass out? And try to get a little more background. And he's able to relay information to them very clearly, painted a good picture for them exactly what happened and where they were, which allows them to then move quickly into then transportation and getting the patient over to the hospital.
So when did his heart start beating again through this process? Did you guys notice that, the team, right away, or was it, when did Nathan's work actually come into fruition that got his heart start going again?
That's a great question. And so when your heart is in a ventricular fibrillation, it's very disorganized. The electricity in the heart's very disorganized. The only way to stop that is to reset it, effectively reset it with a defibrillation, with a shock that people see on television. And so the chest compressions will not reset that heart. What the chest compressions do is they keep oxygenated blood flowing through the heart, through the brain, through other organs that specifically, when we're talking about the heart, allows the heart, when it gets defibrillated, to receive that electrical therapy and to respond appropriately to it. And so the response of the CPR, while he's doing chest compressions, while the EMT is doing chest compressions, is just to keep that oxygenated blood circulating so that when we can defibrillate, then that can be effective as well. So we got this to realize or to see the effect after the defibrillation, but the effect was taking place the whole time that he was doing the compressions.
That is great. So, Val, what lessons do you think we can learn from this? Obviously, this worked picture perfect textbook in terms of our response team was able to walk Nathan through this, and we came out with a great outcome. But what would you say that we can learn from this?
That's a great question. So in Chandler, we have a great emergency medical system, a 911 response system, and so that is in place for you right now. What makes the difference in these types of calls is the bystander CPR. And so we can do everything that we can do to be ready and to respond to these calls, but if that heart is not oxygenated during those few minutes, 3, 4, 5 minutes, as the crew is responding, sometimes it doesn't react as favorably to the therapy. So lay people can learn to do CPR. They can learn from this that, hey, you know what, it's something that Nathan could do. It's probably something that I could do. Nathan learned it in Boy Scouts. We don't even know how long ago, right? A while ago, but he was able to, with the dispatcher's help, to go ahead and roll Isaac over to do effective chest compressions, to go ahead and sustain some of that cardiac tissue so it would respond favorably. And so I think the biggest message here is one, learn how to do CPR, and two is kind of get it in your mindset that, you know what, I can engage in this and I can make a difference. And truly, that is what makes the difference.
Now, Nathan, you weren't expecting this, but right now we're going to clear these cups off the table, and he's going to demonstrate CPR on you. Is that okay? You are a willing guy. That is fantastic. You know, my secretary, who lives across from one of our fire stations on Ray Road, her husband had a heart attack, called the same system, called 911. They led her into doing chest compressions. They came here, and he's still alive and well. Wow. Today, though she applied a little more force, ended up breaking a few more ribs than she wished she would have. But it is amazing that regardless if you're 13 or if you're 60 or whatever age, that this is something that we can teach everybody and save lives in Chandler. So you received a Heart Saver Award at a recent council meeting. What was that like?
I think it was pretty amazing because not many people get that award, and I'm very grateful.
And what are some of the other things that has happened since this event? Clearly, you and your coach have gotten closer together, and it seemed like you were already pretty close. But what have been some of the other places that you have taken your message and taken a message of CPR and other things too?
Well, I've talked to people at my school about it. Like, you should get involved about it. Like, you never know if it's going to happen to you or anybody else in your family.
So your school actually had like a class or a gathering? Did you demonstrate, or did you just talk to individuals?
No, I just talked to individuals about it.
Okay. And then you had a couple television spots.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that.
Well, the first one was on the Chandler or ABC 15 News,
Mm-hmm.
and then they like interviewed me about that, and then I went on Fox and Friends. I had to wake up super early, which stunk, but it was still fun.
So what time were you actually on TV that you had to wake up so early?
We were on at about like 4:30 in the morning.
Whoa, that is early. And then I saw you were on a radio station. You got up early that morning too, didn't you? Although not quite as early.
Mm-hmm.
They had donuts for you and a Disney vacation.
Yeah.
So have your family gone yet?
Not yet. We're planning on doing that like this coming week or something like that.
Now, Val told me beforehand that he was more than willing, if you needed a firefighter, he was willing to accompany your family with that too.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need him though, huh?
No.
You can do CPR?
Yeah.
That's good. So Val, let's talk more about some safety messages from Fire, Health, and Medical Department and what we promote. Can you talk about some of our current campaigns that we're also engaging in? Obviously, CPR is a year-round possibility and hazard. So what are some of the other messages?
Yeah, so CPR is a great one always. We never know when it's going to happen. You never know when you're at baseball practice with a young 26-year-old healthy coach, when that can happen. So that's always a great one to be able to rely on. One thing that we're actively trying to get a message out right now is our drowning awareness, and just making sure that, it's getting warmer. People love to be in the water. It's a fun activity to be in the water. But we want to make sure that people are being careful, that there's always somebody assigned when there's children in the water, that they're not participating, they're not conversing, but they're actually, their job is to watch the children and make sure that they're safe. We want to make sure that even adults aren't swimming alone, that they're not swimming impaired, that they're not drinking alcohol and then swimming, that they're doing things safely. And I'll relay just maybe one quick story if I could, if we have just a second. And this is from one of our fire captains, and he was telling me about a time when they were having a pool party, a family gathering, lots of people around, and he was watching one of the girls, and she was about 5 years old, walking on a small wall that was kind of in between the sauna or the jacuzzi and the swimming pool. And he kind of felt like, hey, I think she might slip in. And he watched her slip into the water there. And he told me, Val, I was watching her and I didn't hear anything. It was completely silent. And so it's so important to have somebody in this drowning awareness that is assigned to watch those kids, that we're making sure that we have these self-closing, self-latching gates, that they're operable, everything's functioning, that we don't rely solely on those. We also obviously supervise and everything that we can do to try to avoid those avoidable tragedies. And so that's the main one. We obviously always focus on wearing our seat belts, driving safely, those types of things, and that's probably our main ones right now.
So with the pool, on an average of how many people drowned in a pool in the greater area here in the summer?
Oh, that's a great question. I can't tell you in the metropolitan statistical area. In Chandler, we respond to between 12 and 15 calls per year on that. Okay. Some of them are fatal. Some of them are what they call near drowning. And near drowning is a little bit, maybe misleading just a little bit, in that you may think, oh, near drowning, that's a good outcome. Near drowning can also be a very, very poor outcome, and sure, just means that they survived for a period of time, over 24 hours, but they could still be, critically injured, severe brain injury from lack of oxygen. And so these incidents typically don't end really well. We have had some that have ended well in the last year that we're really proud of, but if we can avoid them, that's going to be much better.
So how can our community learn more about some of these initiatives? You mentioned driving, seatbelts, drowning, CPR. What's the best way for people to connect with these education opportunities?
Well, I think if they watch your show on Channel 11, that might be the best way. Another one is we try to make sure they're on the chandleraz.gov website so that they can access them that way. We try to advertise them sometimes on our fire truck, sometimes with our people. as they're going around. We really like to interact with the public in every opportunity we can. If we're at a demo at a school or at a playground, even when we're shopping in the store, we like to sit and talk. And so word of mouth, we'll get that information out just about any way we can. With the drowning awareness campaign each year, you participated in it this year as you always do. We actually take the door hangers, we pick a section of the city, and we print up a door hanger with a message, and then go door to door. Community members, swim clubs, council members, all go and participate in this, and then hang those door hangers to try to get that message out.
Well, that's very good. So Nathan, let's go back to your moments of fame. So you've done this. What have been some of the other things that you have learned from this? I know you had your picture taken with a bunch of a basketball team from Seton Hall. That was kind of cool after the city council meeting. What are some of the other opportunities that this has given you to be a spokesperson for, or just expand your horizon?
Well, actually, I got offered to go to Seton High School, and I'm very grateful for that because not many people get in, and I was very fortunate to get in.
That's pretty awesome. Is that on the plans, or we'll kind of see where that goes, huh?
Mm-hmm.
They have a good baseball team there? I know they have a good girls basketball team, but that's not gonna help your sports endeavors, is it? So, what else? Are there some other opportunities that you have seen, or this has kind of maybe made you look at life a little differently, actually being involved in saving someone that you know's life?
Well, I learned CPR, and that's really it. I don't know.
Okay. And what is your family thought about this? I know you have two sisters, Grace and Reagan. Do they think any differently of you, or are you just still the big brother?
I'm just still the big brother.
Still the big brother, yeah. Well, that's good. You will probably inspire some of the other of your family members, your classmates, to learn CPR, and others as well. That's a really cool thing. So that is great. Well, so what are some other, have you seen something like this happen before? That obviously Nathan was quite courageous and very able to learn through. Has there been other opportunities like this that you've seen in our community in the last couple of years where citizens have stepped up and saved people's lives?
So that's a great question. CPR has actually changed a little bit over the years, and you wouldn't think it would. The heart's still in the same place, mouth is still in the same place, lungs are still in the same places, but there's been a change in CPR, in especially how we teach the lay rescuer, whereas before we would teach to do the ratios of chest compressions to ventilations and go back and forth, and sometimes it's confusing, sometimes it's hard to get the ventilations right. And there was a lot of great work done at the University of Arizona in piloting and doing some studies. The Department of Health Services here in Arizona was instrumental in bringing chest compression only CPR into EMS. And so one of the changes, or probably the biggest change I've ever seen in CPR, is chest compression only CPR. And so in teaching that, you don't have to do the mouth-to-mouth. You don't have to do the ventilations. All you have to do is get on the chest and start doing chest compressions, ideally 100 a minute. But if you do it a little bit faster or a little bit slower, that's okay. Do chest compressions. And anybody can do that. And so with that new program, we have seen a dramatic increase in our survivability of witnessed ventricular fibrillation cardiac arrest, which is what happened here. And it's literally gone up 10 times from what it was a couple of years ago. So we are seeing people that are calling 911. We've done a great job. Everybody knows how to do that. And then they're receiving instruction, if they don't know how to do it, teaching them, okay, get on that chest, start doing some chest compressions. And then we are seeing positive outcomes. We had one again just 2 weeks ago with a 53-year-old male. Bystander CPR, quick response to the EMS system, rapid defibrillation, transport to the hospital for definitive care, find out what the precipitating problem was, solve that problem, and then this person goes on with life as normal. Isaac, going on with life as normal, still healing a little bit, but goes from absolutely on the ground in cardiac arrest to now he's back at baseball camp.
That's pretty incredible. Well, Nathan, this is, like I said, the third time I've had a chance to see you, and I'm glad we did this show.
Thank you.
I'm glad to hear more of your story. I'm going to be following your progress, and hopefully our paths will run across each other again. I do tend to hang out at Seton for different things whenever we get invited, so it's been great. Is there anything else that you would like to say to our audience today?
Actually, yes, I would just would like everyone to learn CPR because you never know if it's going to happen to like a 70-year-old or a 26-year-old.
That's true. Val, any final comments that you'd like to
I think
share?
that's a great message, and I think Nathan is a tremendous representative of what anybody, that if they can think clearly in that type of situation, can make such a dramatic difference in somebody's life and their outcome, a difference between actual life and actual death. And so I think my final thoughts will be, thanks, Nathan. Great job. It's not easy. It's hard. You take a little bit with you when you put yourself into a situation like that. You see some things that are kind of hard to deal with. And so I know that having been in that situation myself, having done chest compressions on many people, you see things that are kind of hard to see. And so you put yourself in that situation. You took that work upon yourself. You did it. And now you see this dramatic outcome. So thanks, Nathan. Great job. You're a great citizen, a great young man. I've loved getting to know you. I loved watching you take the picture with the Seton High School girls championship basketball team, and you're a lot of fun. It'll be fun to watch you grow up as a young adult here.
Thank you.
Well, thank you both for being on our show today, and thank you for watching. And again, I'm Kevin Hartke, and this is Chandler in Focus. See you at our next show.